evening and welcome to Viva's live stream cookery demonstration. My name's Helen Wilson, I'm your presenter and host. So this evening I'm going to be cooking a selection of Pan-Asian style dishes for you, direct from Viva's Vegan Recipe Club. So the recipes that I cook, all of them can be found and followed on Viva's Vegan Recipe Club. So that's veganrecipe.club.org.uk, there's a website, there's also an app. So tonight I'm going to be cooking a really lovely starter of Vietnamese rice paper rolls, followed by a delicious one-pot pad thai. And the star of tonight's show is going to be a special Balinese summer curry made using mango and coconut. And we're going to finish off with a really indulgent pudding of deep-fried banana fritters with some ground spice on the top, with a secret ingredient. A special vegan-friendly ingredient we're going to use to help make the batter. So yeah, Asian style dishes this evening. So welcome if you're just joining me. So you can look at those recipes on the Vegan Recipe Club website. So you can try and follow along. You can sort of follow the steps that I'm taking, and then maybe have a go at making them at home another time soon. So we're going to start with Vietnamese rice paper rolls. So I've been trying to play with these things for a few years. So these are spring roll rice papers. I buy these from a local Chinese shop in Swansea, near where I live. You can get them online, but they tend to be quite accessible and quite affordable really if you can buy them from a local Asian shop. I mean, this packet, I don't know how many's in here, like probably about 50 of them or so, and I've had this packet quite a long time. So the first time I ever tried to make rice paper rolls, I thought that they were an absolute faff. But basically it's one of these things that you get used to, and once you learn the knack of cooking with these things, they become a really sort of quick and healthy sort of snack or starter, and that's what we're going to do this evening. I'm going to show you how to treat these delicate little things and give you some ideas of how to fill them. So, my number one tip really of dealing with these rice paper sort of circles is I've got a quiche dish here. You want a dish, a circular dish, which is deep enough to put a little bit of water in. And what you do is we soften these in water. They're very, very thin and they're very delicate. So I think I'm going to do 3 this evening to show you, so you get the hang of how we roll them and things. Let's get 3 of them out. But you always just do 1 at a time. So what I recommend doing is, this evening, let's talk about the lovely sort of ingredients we're going to be putting in, and then I'm going to show you how to treat these bad boys and not get annoyed with them, basically. So we're going to do a basis of little gem lettuce. These are cooked vermicelli rice noodles, and I prepared these earlier, you see. I've actually tossed them in a little bit of sesame oil to stop them sticking. I'm also going to put some bean sprouts into them. I've got some salted peanuts, and I just have to show you these sweet little spring onions. These actually, dropped some on the floor. These actually came from my garden, so they're very, very tiny, very fine. They're perfect to put in these rice paper rolls. I've got some fresh mint, some fresh basil and some coriander, and fresh herbs really do add that sort of extra zing. If you don't have them, obviously don't worry about it, but my number one tip when you're making these rice paper rolls is that you need to think about how you're going to bulk them out. So, I forgot actually, we're going to put some sort of slices of cucumber and carrot in as well. But if you just put them, if you think about how you roll up a burrito, for instance, you put the filling in the middle, don't you? And then fold in the sides and then roll from the bottom. You've got to think about filling these rolls in a similar way. If you don't put enough filling in them, when you go to cut them in half, they'll just be sort of flat and not very attractive looking. One of the best things about these rice paper rolls is their transparency. They can look really attractive on a plate, especially if you cut them in half, and then you get that lovely cross section of all the different salad and things you've used. So I didn't sprout any beans or lentils, but if you've got like homemade sprouted lentils or peas or that sort of thing, they're absolutely perfect to give some volume in these rice paper rolls, or alfalfa sprouts, but they're just not very easily available, I find, and I just haven't been sprouting recently, so I haven't got any. So that's why I've got these bean sprouts here, and they do work well, and you're going to get some volume from these sort of delicate vermicelli rice noodles. But you just want to build up like a palette of colour really, so because they're quite a showpiece I think, as well as being like a sort of quite a quick and healthy sort of snack or lunch. So I've prepared these fillings first because basically once we wet these rice paper rolls you don't want to mess about because they're very, very sticky and you have to handle them delicately and fairly quickly. So getting the filling ready first is quite important. So I'm going to do some slices of cucumber and just get them ready to put in. And if you search for Vietnamese rice paper rolls on the vegan recipe club, you will find the recipe. And I think it was kindly supplied to Viva by Matt Pritchard, Dirty Vegan. I think it comes from his first book. So thanks to him for allowing us to use that recipe. So there we go, slices of cucumber. But as I say, I have been making these myself off and on for years, and the first time I did it, I just thought, oh, it's such a faff. But it's one of those things, if someone can explain to you how to do them and show you what not to do, it then becomes quite easy. And I'm just taking a bit of the skin off this carrot a minute. They then become not so daunting and more successful. So let's do some slithers of carrot. I can see quite a few of you joining me this evening. Thanks for coming along online and watching this Pan Asian live stream cookery demonstration from Viva. So some slithers of carrot. There we go. So I think that all my lovely fillings here are all ready. So I've got a kettle behind me that I boiled not long ago. So I don't want boiling water because I'm going to want to put my hands in here quite soon, but it's quite hot water. So just take one of these circles of rice paper, and I've got my hot water here, and I'm just going to pour it over. I know you can get these online if there isn't a shop anywhere near you that sells them. This make is called Ban Trang Mong Spring Roll Wrapper. Okay, so you will see very quickly the pattern on the rice paper disappearing. And I'm just going to put my hands into it and then very, very gently lifting the paper up. Can you see? Popping it down on my chopping board. Now it's very, very delicate, so you've got to be very careful with it. And now I'm just spreading it out into a circle. Don't dig your nails in because you'll rip it. And this is why it's best to have the fillings ready, because you've got to work fairly quickly with this before it dries. So I'm separating out this circle of rice paper. Great. Right, so I've got some little gem leaves that I washed earlier. Let's put one of those in the middle. Let's move this out of the way. I hope that you can see what I'm doing. I think you can. Right, little gem leaf. Now, let's put some flat bits on first. So let's put a couple of bits of cucumber. Think about the cross section that you're going to get when you cut them through. So let's put one of my lovely pretty little spring onions, shall we? Oh, there's a little bit of outside leaf left on there. There we go, these are quite delicate anyway, so a couple of little slithers of spring onion. That's a tiny little bulb bit at the top there. There we go. Right, let's put a few bean sprouts. So if you just joined me, I'm putting together Vietnamese rice paper rolls. So there's the bean sprouts. Let's put a few of these vermicelli noodles. And as I said, I mixed sesame oils through because otherwise they're going to stick together, and they're cold. I cooked them a while ago, and you don't want a big clumpy mess of noodles. Right, let's put some salted peanuts, just a few along the line. And then let's put some herbs. I've got some fresh coriander. And these are just little extras, you know. Remember what I always try and say if you've watched my demos before. Just think creatively with the recipe. If you don't have all the ingredients, you can try and work out what are the key ingredients and what you actually need. So I've got some mint now and a bit of basil. This basil's done well. I had it from last week's Italian demo, but it's still all right. There we go, basil, mint. So I think we're ready to go. So I've thought about this and I think it looks like I've got a good amount of filling. So now watch. I'm going to pick up one side, fold it in, pick up the other side, fold it in. Then I'm picking up the bottom edge of the circle of rice paper and then folding it over and rolling. And there we are, a Vietnamese rice paper roll. So I'll do a couple more. I've got a really pretty plate here. So let's just do one more. Sit this one on here. So this water is a little bit, so it's still warm. If you put these papers in cold water, it won't really soften them. So let's just put a little tiny bit of hot water on the top there. And don't let them sit in there too long, because when you bring them out, they'll just fall apart. Literally just a few seconds, moving them around with my hands. And they keep on softening once you've brought them out. So bring this one out here. Can you see? It's all loose rice paper rolls. Right, let's do this one a bit quicker. So, well, that leaf looks a bit big, doesn't it? Little gem leaf. You don't have to put the lettuce down. You can put the vegetables straight onto the rice paper and then the colours will show through. There we go. Cucumber, bean sprouts. And you can think of all sorts of things you could put in here, but you do want something that's got a bit of volume. So let's put these, let's put these vermicelli noodles in there. That's maybe a little bit too much. It's a delicate balance. It is a bit like when you fill a burrito. You don't want to overfill it, but you certainly don't want to underfill it. Right, a few peanuts. This is probably, looking forward to this demo tonight. Absolutely favourite recipes going on here. Right, a few shreds of spring onion. You don't want the flavour too strong, just a few bits. Have I put everything? Right, herbs. So we've got mint, basil, coriander. Bit of coriander. So I took the stalks off the coriander earlier, so I've just got the nice little leaves ready to go in here. And again, let's fold it up. Side goes in, side goes in. And then I'm going to roll up and squeeze the filling together. Squeeze the filling together. It takes a bit of practice, but once you've done a couple, persevere, because sometimes it can be a bit fiddly, but look how easy it is. So that's two there. Let's move this filling to the side. Think about how we present it. So what I might do actually in a minute is I'll cut it open and then you can see the cross section. But I've got to talk to you just a second about a dipping sauce. So I prepared this dipping sauce for these rice paper rolls earlier. Let's talk about the ingredients for the dipping sauce. So we've got a teaspoon of grated ginger, a red chilli which I finely sliced, a garlic clove, some brown sugar, 3 tablespoons of soy sauce or tamari, and some lime juice. I won't tip it up because it'll probably spill, but that's the dipping sauce that I made earlier. So this is how I'd serve this particular starter. So I haven't got a little bowl, but what I might do, especially if you're dining with your guest or yourself, you're going to eat it straight away, I just get some and just drizzle it over the top, and then it'll fall into your little dish, and then as you're eating it you can dip the ends in. Looks really fresh and appetising, and you could put some sort of bits of lettuce on the side, maybe a few stray peanuts and maybe a segment of lime, and there you have it, Vietnamese rice paper rolls. So shall I cut one in half and see what it looks like in the middle? So what my tip with this would be is use a wet knife. And it's the same if you ever make homemade sushi. Use a very sharp wet knife and you'll get a much cleaner cut. Right, here we go. Let's have a look at the cross section. Yep, there we are. So there's the cross section. So then you could serve this by tipping it on its side a bit like this. Let's see if I can show you that cross section. There we are, Vietnamese rice paper rolls from the Vegan Recipe Club website. So I'll move that to the side. Right, let's clean up my workspace. So we're going to do a really quick one pot, one stop pad thai now. Now I absolutely adore pad thai, and this recipe is a really, really good and accessible way to make it quickly for yourself. Just pop these away. So here's my ring. Okay, so let's talk about ingredients for pad thai. I've got my pan here. So this recipe is really for you if you're in a hurry and you want something quick and easy to prepare that, you know, is something different than sort of like pasta or beans on toast or something. You know, it's quite exotic, but it's ever so quick and simple. So we need some oil for frying. So I've just used normal vegetable oil here. And I've got a packet of stir-fry vegetables. Now I really like stir-fried veg that has edamame and broccoli, that sort of thing in. So I've got a packet of stir-fried vegetables. And you'll just see how quick and easy it is to make this. And then I've got some of the cauldron marinated tofu pieces. And again, if you don't have tofu, you don't have to put it in, but pad thai with tofu is probably one of my favourite dishes in the entire world. So, so I'm definitely going to put that in. Got cauldron marinated tofu. And here I've got some instant, they're called straight to wok rice noodles here. So all those three are ready here. I'm also going to have a handful of peanuts, roughly chopped, and I've got the peanuts here. I've got some salted peanuts, but I'm not using those on this occasion. I'm going to be just using, let's move this out of the way. I'm just going to be using plain peanuts, not salted. And some of these flavours, these ideas here, are going to be mimicked through the pad thai as well. Then we're going to put 3 tablespoons of soy sauce and some sweet chilli sauce in as well. So let's just turn the ring on. So we see how quick this is actually going to take. So it's 17 minutes past 7. Let's turn on the hob. There we go. So I'm going to put about a tablespoon of oil in. 1 pot of pad thai. So with these dishes, you really don't want soggy vegetables. So I'm going to just flash them in the pan, and my kids especially, actually, and me, we just love raw broccoli. And you know, the edamame beans in here are cooked already. Bean sprouts cook in a matter of, you know, a minute basically. So I'm going to make sure I'm not going to overcook these vegetables. You'll see how quick this can be. So just heat the oil up. So if you're a new vegan, this is maybe something, a really sort of different dish for you to try out of things that you can easily access from the supermarket. If you don't want to buy like a pre-made box of stir-fry vegetables, you could just assemble your own vegetable selection with whatever you like, but some bean sprouts will sort of really sits well with a pad thai, doesn't it? I've just seen Justin is watching. Hello Justin. I can see a few faces on my screen, but I can only pick out a few people because I don't wear my glasses while I'm doing this. Right, let's put the veg in then. So I'm going to do a half portion, I think, just to feed one. Put some bean sprouts in. A few bits of broccoli. Edamame. There we are. Dropping edamame on my floor. There we go. Just stir that. Let's put in some tofu, and you see how quick and easy this is. Especially when you see the Balinese summer curry I'm going to do in a minute. Show you the contrast between the sort of different level of involvement you can go to with your vegan cooking. So I like this, everything in here, I want it to stay quite crispy. The tofu is obviously already cooked and it's already marinated. Bosch have got a fantastic pad thai recipe from their first book. That is one of my favourite pad thai recipes. And if you, well, I probably covered this actually in my tofu masterclass if any of you watched it. If you dab dry firm tofu and then roll it in corn flour and then fry it, it goes super duper crispy. And that's how I like to prepare it if I'm doing a sort of Saturday night pad thai. But these marinated pieces for this quick one pot pad thai are just absolutely perfect. So I know that these pre-cooked rice noodles are very delicate, so I'm going to add them at the very end. Now we've got to put the flavour into it. So let's put a handful of peanuts. I'm going to put a tablespoon of peanut butter. Super. And we want this peanut butter to melt in with the vegetables, so I'm just going to stir it around. Put that in the sink. And the soy sauce is going to help that. So I've got two different sorts here tonight. So the recipe I did with the dipping sauce earlier, I used gluten-free soy sauce or tamari, which is a bit more expensive, it's very nice. Or I just normally have a sort of quite a cheap light soy sauce around as well. And 3 tablespoons of tamari, that'll do. Turn that down one more. And stir in, so I want the peanut butter to melt and distribute through the vegetables. Oh, you can't beat that smell. Wait till we put the lime juice in as well. Juice of half a lime. So I've got my half lime from earlier. Squeeze that in. And I think I said last week, I always like to have one of those bottles of lime juice and lemon juice in the cupboard, just for those occasions where I haven't got a fresh lime or a fresh lemon. Oh, there we are. Okay, so we've got stir-fry vegetables, soya sauce or tamari, and I've got peanut butter and lime all cooking together with a few unsalted peanuts. And then I've got some sweet chilli sauce. I'm going to put that in. So I've done a half portion here. So the recipe says 3 tablespoons. So I'm going to do 1.5. So I've done a half portion. Smells so good. Right, so be careful with these noodles, a little bit like the rice paper rolls. They're already cooked and you don't need to manhandle them, otherwise they do tend to sort of get stuck together or fall apart. So just gently take them out of the paper. And again, these are slightly oiled to stop them sticking. Just unravel them, pull them apart gently with your fingers. If you could see on the other side of the camera, my cat Yoda is watching me because I've forgotten to feed him before I started. But Yoda, I don't think that you'll want one pot pad thai. I don't. I wish you could see him. He's beautiful. He's a very beautiful boy, aren't you, Yoda? So I'm just mixing around. You've got the stir-fry veg going through the straight to wok rice noodles, peanuts, peanut butter, sweet chilli sauce, lime juice and tamari. And that is pretty much ready to go. I'll show you how we can serve it to make it look sort of quite posh, a bit more authentic. Get a bowl out of that. Stir that around. So reminding you, the flavours I've put in with that stuff, because you see these like stir-fry packs in the supermarket all the time, don't you? So the key flavours here are the peanut butter, the soy sauce, the chilli and the lime. And it's a sweet chilli because this does have a heat and a sweetness, doesn't it? Right, let's pop that in there. Oh yes, yes. Don't want to leave any behind, do we? Let's put this over here for a moment. Right, let's make this look pretty, shall we? So you've got the noodles there. Now, you can serve it like that, there's nothing wrong with it. Let's make it look really nice, shall we? So you can got some very fine spring onions on the side. You can do some peanuts over the top. And fresh coriander on the top, or down one side. So I've got a book that I adore by Mira Shoda, who is the Guardian, one of the Guardian food writers, and she does a lot of vegan recipes. And her book, it's called East, and she's got a pad thai recipe in there, and that's got mint on it and things, and it's tender stem broccoli. Oh, it's amazing. Right, so, and then some chilli flakes, and this is how I would serve a pad thai. Quite often I'll serve it with a little bowl of chilli flakes on the side, so if somebody wants more heat, they've got the option then of maybe putting more heat and or more peanuts on the top. And that looks like it needs a bit of red, you know, so if you had like a fresh chilli to hand or left over, you could put a couple of slithers of fresh chilli, or it definitely needs some lime, and let's put a segment of lime on the top. So a quarter of that lime, and there we go. And that's how I'd serve a very, very quick one pot pad thai. Oh, the combination of that chilli, the lime, the peanuts, so 17, wasn't it? So I cooked that in 9 minutes. That's winning, isn't it? Should I taste it? I can't hear what any of you are saying in response, but I'm sure that if I could, that you'd be saying that I should taste it. Move these bowls out of the way a little bit. Right, let's give it a go. I should have put some of that lime juice over the top of it actually. There we are. One pot pad thai, courtesy of the Vegan Recipe Club. I'm only doing this because Jamie Oliver does it, you know, the tasting. That's really good. Recommend it. Set this one aside. So if you haven't watched one of my demos before, recently I've been tasting things, but what I do is at the end I lay everything out and we do a sort of summary of what I've cooked. I can't actually look at your questions and comments as I'm cooking, but what I do is at the end I bring up my laptop and I go back into the video and I look through your questions and comments and I do my best to address them at the end. Okay, so that's 2 down. So we've done the Vietnamese rice paper rolls and the one pot pad thai. We're halfway through. So that's pretty good. So I always like to, in these demos, have one sort of showpiece. So I like to do a mixture of sort of quick and simple recipes, maybe something sweet, and then one recipe that's sort of more the star of the show. So this evening, that's a Balinese summer curry from the Vegan Recipe Club. So this will show you the difference in the sort of recipes we can do. I'm just going to wipe my pan a moment because I need to use the same pan. And it's only had my pad thai in it, so I'm just going to use it to fry some onions. Alright, so Vietnamese, oh no, we've done that, haven't we? Balinese summer curry. I'm going to talk about the ingredients. So this is like a proper job. We're going to make our own spice paste, okay? So let's talk through the ingredients for the spice paste. Move this stuff to one side. So I'm going to need my chopping board. Okay, so step number 1, we're making a spice paste. Now, if you think, oh, I can't be doing with making a spice paste, if you wanted to cheat this step, if you have a look at what's in the spice paste. So you've got onion, garlic, ginger, red chilli, cashews, kaffir lime leaves, coriander, turmeric, chilli powder, and the juice of half a lime. Yeah, so that's what we've got in the spice paste. Now it's very similar to like a Thai spice paste. So I think I've got one in the fridge actually. Look. Yeah, so this is a red Thai curry paste. Let's see if we could cheat with this. So this is suitable for vegans. What I must say to you is if you're buying a ready-made Thai paste, just make sure it hasn't got fish in it. You can't assume that it doesn't. This one is suitable for vegans. This one's from Tesco. So this has got lemongrass, chilli, kaffir, lime leaf, sugar, coriander. It's got lemongrass. So I'd say the flavours are going to be similar, but what you haven't got in here are the ground cashews, which obviously we're going to put to make the paste, which help create a thickness and texture in the sauce. So if you were to just do a straight swap with that, I would say that you'd need to blend cashews into it and then add this sauce, and you'll see what I mean with the cashews because they're going to go into the paste. But if you're looking for something special to cook, you know, this is our sort of showstopper recipe for the evening. So we're going to do our homemade spice paste. So we're going to start with an onion. So this is a recipe I try and show you sort of a bit more from scratch. So I'm going to fry one onion. I'm going to cube it, not too fine because it is going to get blended. And then I'm going to put in garlic and ginger and chilli. Take the skin off. I don't know if you can hear a jingling, that's my cat's bell on his collar. There he is. Right, let's get rid of this. I'll move the recipe to one side, give myself a bit more space. Space is a bit challenging in this setup. Right, let's cube the red onion. And again, if you don't have a red onion, you could use a white onion. Just red onion's nice for flavour in this case, but you know, try to get confident with what you choose to substitute and what you realise is an essential ingredient. Right, so there's the onion. Right, 2 cloves of garlic. Where is it? Oh look, here it is. 2 cloves of garlic. And I'm not using a cheating garlic this evening. I thought I'd show you chopping a proper garlic. So, you might have seen me do this before. 2 cloves of garlic, both with the skin on. Flat edge of the knife. I'm just going to press down on the clove and on the other one. And then when you pick it up, the skin simply falls away. So you don't have to stand there for ages fiddling and picking. So if you just joined us, and sorry for those people who've been here from the beginning, but who have just joined us, we're doing a vegan Pan Asian live stream cookery demo. So just chopped those woody bits off the end of the garlic. Now this is going to get blended, so I'm not chopping it up too finely. Chopping up garlic, and I'm going to cook the onion first until it's sort of soft and browning, and then pop in garlic. So let's turn this on, shall we? 3 will do. Bit of oil. So if you're used to seeing me cook by now, I have the recipes with me, but I'm a bit of a do-it-by-eye kind of girl. So if you want precise, I'd suggest looking at the recipes, because I'm cooking from the recipes, but I do cook by eye sometimes in terms of how much oil and stuff I put in. It's just a habit. So, there we go. Spread that onion out. Alright, working down the recipe list. 2 centimetres of grated ginger. So I've got a nice big chunk of ginger there. There we go. Oh, I haven't got my grater out. Here we go. Grate some ginger. I've kept the skin on. I'm just going to grate it, being careful of my fingers. Any woody bits you see you can pull away and not use afterwards. Generally this is fine. If you haven't got fresh ginger, I've got some of that cheating lazy ginger. I think I had that out the other week. Or another top tip, for when you really do run out of things. Have some ground ginger in the cupboard and some garlic granules, you know, and then if all else fails and you haven't got fresh garlic and ginger or lazy garlic and ginger, you've got ground. Get that onion going. So basically we're frying this stuff before we turn it into a paste. So I'm frying this red onion, and I've got 2 centimetres of grated ginger and 2 cloves of garlic ready to go in. Right, and I need a red chilli. I've got one here, so I'm going to cut the end off. Now, in the usual cookery demo style, and apologies to younger viewers, I've got here's one I made earlier. If you don't get that reference, I do apologise. But basically, I made one of these curries earlier because it does need to simmer for 20 minutes. So I've got one ready to present to you at the back there. And I've tasted it, and it could have been a bit spicier. But what I did, because I thought I might get asked to see if my kids wanted to eat some of it, is I took out the chilli seeds. But what I think I'm going to do for this one, I'm going to make this one slightly hotter. So I'm going to take the seeds out of one side of the chilli and leave them in the other. So as I said, I think I'd like this one to have a bit more heat in it. Get rid of those chilli seeds. Right, I must say to you, if you don't already know, if you're cutting chilli, be careful, don't get it underneath your nails, don't dig your fingers into it because it can really sting, and then if you touch your eyes you can be in trouble, so just be careful. I'm holding this very delicately just with the end of my fingers, making sure I don't dig my nails in, because I've done it a couple of times. It's not very pleasant. There we go. So I'm going to chop this one up. I'm leaving, as I said, a few of the seeds in this time to give it a little bit more heat. Right. So this is softening off now. Let's pop in the garlic and the ginger and the chilli. Smelling really nice. Oh, a bit spicy. Excuse me. Right, let's talk about what else goes into this spice paste. So I'm missing the end of my blender, that's helpful, isn't it? Ah, here it is. This is when I can do with an assistant, isn't it? Alright, here we go. It's the smaller part of my Magimix. So let's get the stuff ready to go in here. So while this is frying off, I've got 4 lime leaves. And again, if you can't find them, you can just add a bit more lime juice. But I bought these in a local Asian supermarket, and I've had this packet for ages. I don't use them that often, but you know, they're still there. And you've got a teaspoon of ground coriander. So this is quite strong actually. Maybe put a little bit more oil in that, seems a little bit dry. It's catching the back of my throat, excuse me. Okay, teaspoon of ground coriander. So we're making a spice paste for this Balinese summer curry. And also half a teaspoon of turmeric and a teaspoon of chilli powder. Half a teaspoon of turmeric and a teaspoon of chilli powder. And of course, I've said this before, know your chilli powder. I know this one is about a medium, so I'll happily put half a teaspoon in. If you've got a really hot chilli powder, maybe just add a little bit, and then if you want more heat, you can go back to it, can't you? And I've got some roasted cashews. I just dry roasted them earlier here. 45 grams of roasted cashews. And once I've done this spice paste, this curry is actually really, really simple. It's just going to that effort to make the spice paste yourself, isn't it? Right, let's turn that off. I'm going to pop this. So this is onion, garlic, ginger and chilli, which I've fried, putting it into the top of my mixer bowl, my blender bowl, with the cashews and the lime leaves, coriander, turmeric and chilli. Got that there. So this is ready to be blended now. Just check that I've got everything. Juice of half a lime. So here's my half lime. I always do this with my hands. I have got one of those juicy things, but I never remember to get it out with my equipment. Just hope I haven't got any cuts on my fingers. I don't think I am. There we go. Get rid of that. Okay, so behind me is my Magimix station. So I'm just going to make my spice paste for the Balinese curry. So I do this quite often in the demos when I'm using my blender, especially I did this with the pesto. I take off the top, get my lovely silicone spatula, and I'm going to loosen all the bits from around the edge because I want a nice smooth texture for this curry paste. So I'm going to smooth off all the bits from around the edges and encourage them to fall back towards the blade. There. So I might do this, you know, one more time in the process of making the paste. There. I'm going to loosen it with a bit of water, I think. And one more time, scraping the edges. There's something very nice about making your own spice paste, isn't there? Here we go. My nose. Okay, here's our spice paste. So this is the Balinese summer curry spice paste. So I just gently use the spatula to remove the bits of paste from the blade there. Okay, so let's turn on my pan. You need a very big pan now, and the curry's going to come together. Oh, I have got a tickle. Right, I'll talk about other things we're going to put in here in a minute. So, let's get the oil going. I'm going to fry the paste first to release the flavours from the spices. There. Oil. Oh, there we go. Oh, I've just remembered, Jan, if you're watching me, Jan sent me a message just ask about what ring I have. Mine is a Tefal everyday induction hob. I don't know if that's any use. I can't remember what you asked me. I'm very sorry. I'll have to look at your message again. Right, so I'm going to warm that through there. And then, like using a spatula to get all of the paste out. I'd normally make the oil a bit hotter first, but for time I'm just going to pop the paste in now. There we go. Don't want to leave any behind. There we go. So let's cook off the spice paste. And once you've made the effort to make the paste, the rest of this dish really comes together quite effortlessly. You just need to give it 20 minutes or so to simmer on the hob. So we're cooking this paste in the oil to let all the flavours release. And while we're doing that, we're going to talk about the other things we put in. Really simple. Got a tin of coconut milk. Open that one up. Oh. And now the recipe suggests vegan chicken style pieces or chickpeas. So I've got a tin of chickpeas, but I've also in the fridge had some jackfruit that I'd used in another demo that was looking for a home. So I thought I might actually put some jackfruit in this. You don't have to. It's just I had this idea because I've got this jackfruit left over from our jackfruit demo. So I thought, why not try and put some jackfruit in? Let's mix this round. Oh, nice. I'm going to pop a bit more oil in, just a tiny bit. Chickpeas. Have to drain the aquafaba off. What I thought I'd do is, if I get the jackfruit here, just going to pop some jackfruit in there and fry it in the paste. This isn't in the recipe. The recipe just tells you to put the coconut milk in, and then you're going to add the chickpeas. But I'm ad-libbing a bit, just because I had this jackfruit, and you know, it shows you how you can cook when you're just going to pop things in and learn what will go and what might not go. So I could have done this with tofu or vegan chicken style pieces. But I thought, because of the texture, why not give it a little go with some jackfruit. Let's fry the jackfruit in the paste. There we are. And then I'm going to put in a tin of coconut milk. Oh, there's a bit of cream on the top there. Let's get that one in. There we go. I've just got to, oh, don't want to lose that cream there. Right, I'm going to drain off the aquafaba a minute. Add in the chickpeas. So tiny recap, we made a homemade spice paste, cooked it off in the oil, and then I fried in some jackfruit, and then I've added a tin of chickpeas and a tin of coconut milk. So I'm just mixing that around now. So I could put some more jackfruit in if I wanted. Have a look and see how much sort of body you've got into the curry. Yeah, I think it does need a bit more jackfruit. Let's put a little bit more in. The jackfruit's funny stuff, isn't it, if you've not used it before? Look, you could just break this into the pan. You don't have to do it with a knife. It's very fibrous, breaking it into the pan. What I might like to do actually is maybe marinate this jackfruit in the spice paste to get some of the paste and brush it over the jackfruit for a bit. There we go. Where's my cloth? Just wipe my surface a minute. Okay, let's step back to the recipe for a moment. Ooh. Okay, so looking down the curry ingredients. Oh, I've got to put mango in. Oh, how could I forget? I'm going to put mango in as well. Now, I'm going to be in a bit of trouble here because I was supposed to prepare this earlier. I've forgotten to cut the mango, so we'll do it ad lib here, shall we? So I'm going to score across the mango. Let's have a look what the recipe says. The recipe suggests a 1 ripe mango. Here we go. So I'm going to cut the mango straight in here. This isn't the ripest mango, but it's pretty good actually. So you get the idea. You could buy, you know, tinned mango or ready chopped mango, but obviously if you can get a nice fresh one, all the better. Let's try the other side. So the key flavours here being the lovely sauce that you've made from that curried paste. Then you've got mango, chickpeas and coconut milk. And a bit of jackfruit in there for luck. I'm not an expert at cutting mangoes, I don't buy them very often. There we go. Yeah. So with a bit more time I'll put the whole mango in. And also some lemongrass. It says a stick of lemongrass, and the only lemongrass I could find in the shop I went to was this paste. So I'm going to put a teaspoon of lemongrass paste. There we are, mix that round. Now, we'll bring this to the boil and then turn it down to simmer for about 20 minutes. Let's move this out of the way. And then, of course, we get the magic of here's one I made earlier. So this, imagine, fast forward 20 minutes. Here we have one I made earlier. Let's turn the heat off. Now, Mary Ann from the Recipe Club suggests that coconut yogurt is a fab thing to serve this with. So that's a really good suggestion. I haven't got any of that this evening. What I have got is fresh coriander, which we're going to top it with. And what I cooked earlier was some really delightful Thai sticky rice. So you could just use sort of basmati if you haven't got this, or whatever rice you have to hand. I'd had this in the cupboard for quite a long time, so I thought it'd be a nice opportunity to use it. So let's have a nice big bowl, Chloe. Give this a stir. And I've got another one here, have I? So we have nice Thai sticky rice. Oh, it's really sticky. There we are. Balinese summer curry with chickpea, coconut and mango. And this one I made earlier hasn't got any jackfruit in it, it's just the chickpeas. Now have a look at this. If you can see, it's a beautiful warm yellow colour from the turmeric. Spoon it over the rice, getting enough sauce and sort of chunks of chickpea and mango. Move this out of the way. If you watch my demos regularly, you'll know that I'm always juggling with too many frying pans and saucepans by the end. Here we go. So again, think about colour, think how you're going to decorate. Fresh coriander on the top. And we know that we've had lime juice in there, don't we? So, you know, you could do the similar thing again. You could serve with a corner of lime. And we've had chilli flakes in there, haven't we? Where have they gone? So we could put some chilli flakes on the top, like so. And you could be really posh and sort of get yourself a nice attractive piece of mint, you know, with the top, and sort of stick it out of the top. And there you have it. It's Balinese summer curry with Thai sticky rice. So there's that one. Right, and last but not least, I'm going to make some banana fritters. Here we go. So if you're following on the Vegan Recipe Club, there are a couple of different banana fritter recipes on there. The one I'm going to do this evening is quick banana fritters, and it's really quick, and you'll see now. So I've got 2 bananas here, vegetable oil for frying. So I've got my little pot here. Where's my oil? Here we go. I'm going to pop a load of oil in here. There we go. So I better start warming that up, hadn't I? Alright, and then I'm just going to make a really simple batter using 100 grams of plain flour, half a teaspoon of baking powder and half a teaspoon of salt. And the trick for the batter, this is the secret vegan ingredient I'm going to put in, is this wonderful vegan pale ale. Now, I'm going to give a shout out to the company who've provided me with this evening. So, there's a company we're going to be working with Viva and appearing on my podcast actually, called Beer 52. And they're a craft beer company who supply craft beers to your door. And they're coming up with a new, they started a new vegan beer club, and they've sent me a sample box of this selection of sort of surprise vegan beers, and this is one of them. And the amazing thing is, this one is actually brewed in St Werburgh's in York Street, which is actually very close to the Viva office, which is why I thought I'd try and use this evening. So it's going to be a real treat to use this vegan-friendly pale ale in the batter for these banana fritters. So I need, where's it gone? 140 mils of beer. And I'm actually might try some of this while I'm cooking. Oh, it smells really fruity and light. It's quite fizzy actually, isn't it? I'm not pouring this very well, am I? You can tell I haven't worked on a bar for a while. There we go, it's a bit frothy, but the froth is what we're going to need to create a nice batter. So, move this out of the way a minute. So I've got my whisk here, I'm just going to whisk the beer and the froth into the flour, the baking powder and the salt. Definitely going to need a little bit more beer. I'm hoping there's going to be enough left for me to try some. So it should be 140 mils. So I'm beating this flour into a nice batter. Keeping an eye on that oil. And what I thought we'd serve it with is I've got a pot of ground allspice. I've got some soya cream there. So a nice thick batter. I want to try and get the lumps out. Maybe a bit more. Shall I try some? Oh, it's delicious. This is called Wiper and True Pale Ale from Beer 52. Well, it's very, very, very nice. It's got a citrus flavour. I'm hoping that's going to be picked up in the batter. So I'm going to be doing some more vegan beer tasting on the September edition of the Viva Vegan podcast, which I also produce. So that looks good. There we go. So, let's do a banana fritter, shall we? Halved lengthways and chopped into 3. Right. Take the skin off. It's a good job I saved these, because if my children get wind of bananas, they just disappear, basically. I have to order a double portion of bananas in the veg box. Triple, actually. Right, so here's my batter. Got the oil cooking here. I'm going to cut the banana lengthways down the middle, and then in half, and in half again. Move this stuff out of the way. I need to spit on things. I'm going to get a plate ready. Okay, so most of the time I think I've got all my utensils I need, but I definitely need this. So it's sort of like a slot. It's I can't remember what you'd call it. Sieve, spoon. Somebody can tell me in the comments what this sort of spoon's called with holes in, because I need to be able to fish out the banana, don't I? So here we go. Quarter banana. Now, I can tell this batter's ready because it's bubbling. I'm going to pop that on my spoon. Just wash my hands a minute. There we go. Right, let's dip it in, shall we? Banana fritters. Yeah, bubbling. And the batter's sticking to the banana, that's what we want. Let's do another one, shall we? So coat the banana in the batter. And quickly drop it in. There we go, that's better. Shall I do one more? So, coating the banana in the batter. Don't let it sit around in there for too long. And you've got to be quick about it, quick off the mark. Drop the other one in. Move it across. You don't want them sitting on top of each other. There we go. So here we go. Banana fritters. And to give it that sort of special flavour on the top, as I say, I've suggested ground allspice and a bit of soya cream. Here's our plate. So keeping an eye on this now, be careful because it's hot. Just tipping the oil from side to side, and I'm going to go in with this. You've got to loosen them because you want them to be floating in the oil. You don't want them sticking to the bottom. But at the same time, it's a bit like when you're doing toefish. You've got to be very delicate with the batter and things because you don't want it to fall off whatever you batter, do you? Now I'm looking at this and I can tell that the batter is looking pretty solid around the bananas. Oh, I'm going to turn it because one side looks a little bit brown. Oh, lucky person's going to get this for their supper tonight. Oh. There we go, turn the bananas over because I want them to be crispy all the way around. There we go. that one to the side. Haven't made too much of them left this evening, have I? Excuse me. Right, let's have a look at the time. Oh, 1 minute 2. That's pretty good, isn't it? Maybe I might... Oh look, I've got another one of these pretty dishes. Maybe I might serve the fritters on an attractive plate as well. Because it wouldn't be every day of the week I'd have deep fried fritters. But my goodness, what a treat. Right, let's turn the oil off and scoop them out. Be careful of fingers. And this spoon, this allows me to tap, 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 get most of the oil off. You could put it on some kitchen towel. I don't buy kitchen towel, but an old tea towel you could sit it on and just get off any excess oil if you wanted to. There we go. And there's some cheeky batter bits. Should we put those on the top? There we go. Let's move this out of the way. Being really careful handling the hot oil. And let's think about how we're going to top this. So, put some single soya cream on. I saw the other day, you can get so many different plant creams now, can't you? It's crazy. Oat cream, vegan single cream, vegan double cream. Oh, just a revelation, isn't it? Right, and a teaspoon. Let's just tap some allspice on. And that smells sort of a bit like Chinese 5-spice. It's got, oh excuse me, that's that beer, isn't it? It's got some cinnamon and star anise, that sort of thing in it. So I'm just going to tap this on the top. You could do it with a little, a tiny little, like a sieve if you had one. I haven't got a small enough one actually. Yeah, that's one for the Christmas list, isn't it? Small sieve for ground spices. And there we have it. Oh, I need to wipe the edge. There we are. So let's line up all this evening's dishes before I have a look at your questions. So, DIY Pan Asian. We started with Vietnamese rice paper rolls. We then went on to one pot pad thai. And then we did the Balinese summer curry. And we finished off with an absolutely stunning looking deep fried, excuse me, banana fritter. Oh dear me. This has got to be one of my favourites, I think, everyone. So, let me get my computer and let's see if I can check in with your questions and comments. Let's try not to knock anything on the floor. Right, just bear with me a second because it always takes me a moment to get the page running again. So the live stream cookery demos will be continuing throughout the month of September. Oh, I've got to refresh the page, haven't I? This is why I need an assistant. Oh, I can see some comments coming up now. Right, let me just get to your comments. Thank you for your patience, everybody. Oh look, there I am. Viva's live stream. Right, click on that. Right, just coming to your comments now, everybody. Oh look, there I am. Oh, it's playing the video back to me. That's not much good, is it? Let's turn the sound down. Alright, let's go back up to the top. Oh, someone's clapping. Oh, thank you very much. Right, let's go back to the start of the comments. We'll definitely try these, thank you. Oh, Tracy, hello Tracy. They all looked delicious, so I arrived late. Oh, well thank you for joining us anyway. What a spread. Yes it is, Liz. Good job I've got some help coming down the stairs to eat it. Looks so good, thank you for sharing. Oh, and thank you for, I don't know who's joined me from Viva this evening, but thank you for the online support. Cashew nut butter maybe for pad thai. Yes, yeah, Jan, absolutely great shout, because it's just giving some thickness to that curry paste, isn't it? Looks great, says Joyce. Looks fab. Could I use instead of peanuts? Jan, yeah, use cashews, definitely. Drop them in the comments for questions. Yeah, and thank you for joining us, everybody. And then the final comment, Krunal says, sounds like an amazing menu. Oh, thank you very much. And Jenny says, thank you for doing this. Well, thank you ever so much for joining me. I really do enjoy cooking for you all. If you've got any ideas of things that you'd like me to cook, why don't you put them in the comments below? Because we're always sort of coming up with new themes and titles. And I really hope that you get some ideas and inspiration from these live stream demos. So, thank you very much for joining me. Check out the Viva Vegan Recipe Club.org.uk or the app for these and many more recipes. And I'll see you again soon.